Yo, 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 yo. Uh-oh. Okay, there it goes. Wow, it took a minute. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, to be honest. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. Like, it was hanging in there. It was like debating. It was like, yeah, I'm going to work today. No, I'm not going to work today. You never know with this show. You never know. We got surprises today's show, that's for sure. You never know with this show. But here's what I do know. When I wake up every morning, I go and I grab my morning 5 planners. First thing I do every single day, I grab my morning 5 planner, and in the morning 5 planner, I write down my gratitude, I write down my goals, go through my checklist, and then up here at the top, there's always a quote that is submitted by actual members of our community. And so I always go to the quote, and it's always such an incredible source of inspiration. I absolutely love the quote every day in the morning 5 planner. I feel like it brings us closer together, right? And so today's quote was submitted by Pastor Jeff Moffitt. Pastor Jeff Moffitt, any of you that have watched this show for any length of time, you probably know Pastor Jeff. This guy's just an incredible guy, man, a servant leader, doing amazing things out of Georgia. And his quote today is perfect, I think. But his quote in the planner, it says this. It says, "Don't just dream, do." Don't just dream, do. Because an unrealized dream is like a recurring nightmare. It keeps haunting you over and over again. I read those words over and over and over and over this morning. An unrealized dream is like a recurring nightmare. An unrealized dream is like a recurring nightmare. But I don't know about you specifically, but I do know there's some areas of my life where I have unrealized dreams. And when I thought about them this morning, I thought, man, Pastor Jeff is right. The non-realization of that dream is very much like a recurring nightmare. But what's interesting for me, maybe for you, is that sometimes we just allow these recurring nightmares to be a part of our life. We just think, well, it's just normal. It's just how it is, right? I just have unrealized dreams. And that's okay. And I'm okay with living this recurring nightmare. I read that this morning, and I thought, that's not the way it was meant to be. You, me, we are children of God, the God of the universe. And that God gave you and I the ability to live as the absolute best versions of ourselves, to realize any dream, to create on levels unprecedented and far beyond our wildest imaginations. Life, however, earth, humanity, non-God things have taught us the opposite. That we are in a world of chaos, that we are not in control, that you cannot fulfill those dreams. They sell you the American dream, but for the most part, they're like, tone it down, bro. Tone it down, back it up a little bit. You can't really do that. Sit down, shut up, be quiet, get in line. All these earthly things. Don't just dream, do. Because an unrealized dream is like a recurring nightmare that keeps haunting you over and over and over again. Thank you for those words, Pastor Jeff. Incredible way to start the show. Good morning and welcome to Rise and Grind Live. Unlock your full potential with the power of daily motivation, education, inspiration with your host, Glenn Lundy, a husband to one, father to 8, global motivational speaker, and the author of The Morning 5.
I'm Heather Parady, former therapist turned online entrepreneur and wannabe comedian.
Celebrity interviews, transformational information, and a massive community around the #1 morning show in the world. It's 5:30 a.m. and it's time to rise and grind. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? This show is doing something weird over on YouTube. I see it. It says that I'm live. It's got the right title. But then when I try to click into it, it goes to a different one. Like it goes to a different episode. It goes to yesterday's episode or the day before, something like that. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'll have to reset that here in just a minute. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, today is Thursday, February 29th, 2024. That's right. Today is Thursday, February 29th, 2024. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Thursday, February 29th, 2024. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most. And I do mean the absolute most of this absolutely incredible day. Does that sound fair? All right, I got YouTube up now. Does that sound fair? So I'm coming to you live from Lexington, Kentucky. And yesterday here in Lexington, Kentucky, it was, last time I was live with you, it was like 68 degrees at this time in the morning yesterday. Today, it is 26 degrees. Today, it is 26 degrees. So the temperature has dropped nearly 50 degrees from the last time we were live till this time we were live. And it's just crazy, right? It's wild, wild weather. Or is it? Or is it? So today is a high of 45, a low of 26. This morning, I thought about that. I thought, man, this is crazy. What's wild? That's wild weather, man. It's nuts. And then because I'm in a season of my life where I'm starting to question everything, I was like, hold on, let's question that belief. Let's question that thought that that's wild weather. So I looked it up. Average weather, Lexington, Kentucky in February. Guess what popped up? On average, February temps are a high of 45 and a low of 27. Here's today. Today's temp is a high of 45 and a low of 26. The average in Lexington, Kentucky in February is a high of 45 and a low of 27. Today is literally 1 degree off with the low of what the average temperatures are in February. It's not wild at all. What's up, Lou Ramirez? It's not wild at all. It is not crazy at all. It shouldn't be surprising at all. It is not shocking at all. It is none of those things. Like, this is exactly what the weather's supposed to be. It's crazy, man. See, emotionally, it feels wild and erratic. But the truth is, it's actually very predictable and expected. You see, it all just depends on the timeline. If I look at a timeline of yesterday to today, today's temperature seems shocking. If I look at a timeline of all of human recorded history, today's temperature is actually exactly what they expected. Crazy, right? Listen, today's a leap year. It's also, as a leap year, it's also my parents' anniversary. They got married on leap year. So they have a big celebration every 4 years, right? They have a big celebration every 4 years. And so shout out to my mom and Everett. You guys have been a tremendous part of my life. And I am so grateful that God chose you to be my parents, for me to do life with. You guys are amazing. So it's a leap year, one extra day. That's 366 days for the year, right? So let's play a little game today. All right. So I need you to drop it in the comments. I see you over on YouTube. I see Scott Simons, Russell Hill, William Bush, Ryan Van Soyek. I see Catherine Guidi, Rodney Rock Hatfield, Erica Bassett, Tony Schmidt, William Bush. Oh, I already said William Bush. I see Justin Conacow, my guy, Justin Conacow. I see Carrie Carter, who was doing some dancing in the car yesterday, which was awesome. I see Don Sankey. I see Alicia Moore, Lou and Paula, and so on and so forth. So I need you guys to interact with me over in the chat real quick. Okay. So first question, I know it's early. I know you maybe you haven't had your coffee yet or something like that, but check it out. First question. How many days are there in a week? Okay. That's your first question. How many days are there in a week? Go ahead and drop that number in the comments if you know the answer, how many days there are in a week. All right. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and there's a little bit of a delay before I see your comments, but I'm going to give my answer. My answer is 7. Okay, there's 7 days in a week. I see Debbie Dowling. She agrees with me, and Marilyn Wilkin agrees. Angie Heath agrees. Christina Howard agrees. It looks like Francois DeRostel, she agrees, or he agrees. Lou Ramirez agrees. Sean Weatherby, Michael Wilder. Okay, there's 7 days in a week. All right, we're all in agreement. Okay, perfect. So how many weeks are there in a year? Okay, hi, Liza. I see you. How many weeks are there in a year? I want you to go ahead and drop that number in the chat. All right, I see Tara's in here. I see Brandon Walker's in here. Rachel Krimnick, great to see you as well. Dora Maria. There's no trick answer. There's no trick answer, Liza. No, there's no trick answer. Okay, so there's 7 days in a week, right? We all agree on that. And I'm seeing 52 weeks in a year. Jeremy Lemus, 52 weeks in a year. TM Hyman says 52 weeks in a year. I see that. Okay, Russell Hill, 52 weeks in a year. Okay, great. So I'm seeing that over on, it seems like you guys are faster on, oh, what's up, Kurt Cahill? Seems like you guys are faster on YouTube than you are on Facebook. I'm just saying. All right, Natasha says 52 weeks in a year. Okay, good. We're doing some math this morning. So there's 7 days in a week. There's 52 weeks in a year. We're all in agreement at this point. Okay. So now my next question real quick is, how many months are there in a year? How many months? How many months in a year? How many months in a year? How many months in a year? Anybody have an answer on that? You guys are all nervous and scared. Tyrone Wilson, great to see you this morning. Rich Pincher, great to see you as well. Okay, great. So I'm seeing 12. Okay, 12 months in a year, 52 weeks, 72 days, or 7 days in a week, 52 weeks in a year, and 12 months in a year, right? Okay, so we're going to take those numbers real quick. So 7 days in a week, 52 weeks in a year, 12 months. So if we divide how many weeks there are in a year, if we divide that by 12 months, then we should get, right? We should get 4 weeks per month. Am I right? 4 weeks. So how many weeks are there in a month? There's 4. What's up, John Paul? There's 4 weeks in a month, right? Which I think we all know that. So we're all in alignment. 7 days in a week, 52 weeks in a year, 4 weeks in a month, 12 months in a year. Okay, so let's plug all this into an equation real quick. All right, let's look at this. So 12 months times 4 weeks actually equals 48 weeks. It doesn't equal 52 weeks, right? 4 weeks in a month, 12 months in a year equals 48 weeks, not 52. And we're all like, yeah, well, we know this. We're all adults, right? There's a couple extra days on each month. In the car business, we use 4.3 weeks in a month to figure out like people's income and so on and so forth, right? But if we really look at it, 12 months, 4 weeks in a month, there's 52 weeks in a year. So 12 times 4 equals 48 weeks. So we're missing 4 weeks, right? Where are the 4 weeks? Because if I bring you on as an employee and I pay you salary, I'm going to pay you for 12 months, not 13 months. right? Because we all agree there's 12 months in a year and, there's 7 days in a week, but we got some extra days here. So if I'm an employee, I'm going to pay you for 12 months. You're going to work more like 13 months, but I'm going to pay you for 12, right? That sounds like a fair deal to me. You work for 13 months out of the year, 52 weeks, but I'm going to pay you for 12 months. Is that cool? So wait, let's look at this a little bit. Hold on. Okay, 20. Okay, so technically, if we actually ran it the right way, right, which would be 7 days in a week, 4 weeks in a month, there would be 28 days in a month, like there is normally in February, right? There wouldn't be 30 or 31 or any of that. It would just be 28 days. And so I was looking at that recently. I was like, okay, 28 days. Where have I heard that number 28 days before? Now, there's a lot of women in here. Don't get mad. I don't know. Sometimes I get weird, talking about this stuff, but from what I was taught and what I've learned, 28 days, when I think of 28 days, I've got, daughters and a wife and so on and so forth. And 28 days is what I've heard is the typical cycle for a woman, right? It's 28 days is the cycle for, that's the natural cycle, right? 28 days. If you look at a fertility chart, it's got 28 days on it. You've got birth control. It's got 28 days on it, right? And it's a rough estimate. Some people are a little less, a little more, whatever. But for the most part, 28 days, 14 days in is your fertility time, so on and so forth, right? So if we go 28 days at a time like a natural female cycle, then what do we end up with? We end up with 13 months. We end up with 52 weeks in a year. Not the missing 4 weeks. We don't end up with 12 months. We end up with 13 natural cycles at 28 days a cycle. Now, here's what's interesting about that. When you go down a little bit further, you start to realize that the golden ratio, right? The golden ratio, if you've ever heard of that, or the Fibonacci sequence, it's based on prime numbers. And the way the Fibonacci sequence works is it's adding the last two numbers. I'm sorry, it's not just prime numbers. It's got two and so on and so forth, but it starts hitting some prime numbers. So you add 1 + 1, you get 2. You add 2 + 1, you get 3. You add 2 + 3, you get 5. And then 5 + 3 is 8. And 8 + 5 is 13. And 13 + 8 is 21. And it creates something called this Fibonacci sequence, right? And the number 13 is really a powerful number when we look at it in nature. Okay, follow me here. All right, the number 13, really powerful when we look at nature. It's connected with the female cycle. It's connected with fertility. It's connected with life. The number 13 is really connected with life. And this 28-day cycle is seen all over the place in God's creation. Like if you look at a turtle shell, okay, every turtle, you guys are like, where's he going? Just stay with me today. When you look at a turtle's shell, every turtle on this planet has 13 sections on their shell. In the middle, the main big sections, there's 13 of them. And then around the edges of those 13 sections, there's 28 little sections. It's fascinating. We see it all over the place in nature. 13 months, not 12. 28 days in a month, not 30 or 31. No hidden months, no hidden weeks. It's pretty straightforward. So let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit and let's keep diving into this, all right? Because I'm going to take you somewhere, I promise. Let's go back a little bit and let's go. Okay, so when is Jesus's birthday? Anybody know that? Go ahead and drop that in the chat if you know Jesus's birthday. drop that number in the chat. Like I said, I know it's super early in the morning and I'm asking lots of numbers and questions, so on and so forth. But when is Jesus's birthday, right? So I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that I was taught that Jesus's birthday was on the 25th, right? Tarika Simmons just put December 25th. Dora Maria says December 25th. Okay. So I was taught December 25th. Ryan Van Soyk just said December 25th. Sean Weatherby, December 25th. Okay. So we celebrate Jesus' birthday on December 25th. We celebrate that on Christmas, right? Now, here's what's interesting. I've done some research, and I actually found that most historians say that Jesus was born in the spring. That Jesus was born in like March, early April. And so I thought, well, that's kind of fascinating, because I was always told, we're celebrating Jesus' birthday around Christmas, right? But most historians are saying no. It was during the spring. So then I started looking, and I was like, well, what if the calendar itself, right? Which, by the way, the Christmas thing, did you guys know, we'll go into this in a little bit, but did you know that the Santa Claus that you guys all know and that I know, the Santa Claus with the red hat and the white suit and so on and so forth, did you know that Santa Claus was created by Coca-Cola to help them sell more Coca-Cola? Like the character Santa Claus was a spokesperson for Coca-Cola. That's why it's those colors, because they noticed that people drank less Coca-Cola in the winter. And so they knew that there was the story of Santa Claus. They knew the story of Santa Claus. Like that was a thing, but they decided to tap into it and make it like their icon for Coca-Cola to sell more Coke. Anyways, that's just a side note. So I just thought, like, let's think real quick. So if Jesus was, let's just say, born in like March, right? Let's go to March in the spring. If Jesus was born in March, what if the calendar started in March? Like instead of January when it's cold and bitter and ugly and nasty out, what if a calendar actually started in March when it was like warm weather, spring, new life, and it ran 28 days at a time instead of 30 or 31? Like what would happen to the calendar? And so I started looking at that. You guys check this out. This is crazy. So if March was the first month of the year, April would be the second month of the year, May would be the third month of the year, June would be the fourth month of the year, July would be the fifth month of the year, August would be the sixth month of the year. And here's where it gets really interesting. September, which I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like septuplets, right? Septuplets is 7. So September would end up being the 7th month of the year. October, right? Octopus, octagon, right? An octagon has 8 sides. An octopus has 8 legs. October would end up being the 8th month of the year. November, N-O-V is the thing for the number 9. So November would be the 9th month of the year, and December, Deca, which is 10, December would be the 10th month of the year. So the names of the months in September, October, November, and December would actually line up if the year started in March and had 28 days versus January, 28 days per month versus January and 31 days. So who changed it, right? Because like naturally 28 days, naturally 13 months in a year, naturally these things line up. Naturally it all connects somehow to source, to God. Who changed it? And when you ask that question, interestingly enough, it's the Romans. The Romans changed it all. The Romans decided to go to the 31 days. The Romans decided that there were going to be 12 months in a year. The Romans decided to completely disconnect from the natural godly calendar. Why would they do that? Well, maybe, just maybe, they wanted to separate humans from God. Maybe the Romans wanted you to worship Caesar. Maybe the Romans wanted you to fall in line to pay your taxes. Maybe by changing the calendar, they could change the way you viewed and felt about yourself. Because just imagine, I mean, what if we aligned with God's natural calendar? What if we aligned with nature? What if we aligned with the 13 months, the 28 days, and everything that aligns and has rhythm to it? Would that bring us closer to God or further away? We're just getting started asking questions today. And I know you're probably like, but Glenn, you're 26 minutes into the show. Yeah, we're going to go a little over today. I told you this week that we were going a little deep. I told you this week I might piss some people off. I told you this week that there might be some controversial moments. And we're just getting started. But before we continue, we got to do some dancing on this show. All right, because that's what we do. We get our bodies in motion, objects in motion, stay in motion, objects at rest, stay at rest. So we're going to do some dancing. This is the part of the show where I need you to hit the share button if you'd like. Hit the like, hit the hearts if you'd like. Hit the likes over on Facebook if you'd like. I'd greatly appreciate that. And then this is the part of the show where I want you to say good morning to me, and I want to say good morning to you. Yes, Lou, you would be 4 years younger, Lou. You would be 4 years younger. It's fascinating stuff, right, Angela? Think about it. Think. Just start to think. 28 days. 4 weeks. Right? Like, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. Randy Wagner, great to see you. Marilyn Wilkin, great to see you as well. Renee Hayes, I'm glad you're in the building. Young Johnson, thanks for being here. Michael Barrick, great to see you. Tara Hope, great to see you. Sean Weatherby and Bella Rigby. See Randy Wagner's in the building this morning. Kurt Cahill, great to see you, Kurt. We got to connect, man. We got to get you deeper into 800% Club. We got to get you to New York, too. John Ellis, great to see you, John Ellis. Jeremy Lemus, I'm glad you're here. Emma Primasino, great to see you. Tosh Point0 is in the building. I'm glad you're here as well, Tosh. Great to see you. Lisa Cook-Bourne, Sonia Merritt, Michael Wilder, Janine Lamb. Thanks for joining us today. Christina Macy and Linnell Burns. That would throw the whole birthday thing out the window. We'd have to start doing a whole lot of different math. The math would change just a little bit, that's for sure. Lauren Myers in the building. Sean Weatherby, Jacqueline Underwood. I'm glad you're here. Ricardo Govindasamy. Great for being here. Thanks for being here. Christina Howard, Debbie Dowling-Waba. You're too kind, Debbie. You're too kind. Gail Beecraft is in the building this morning. David Struther is in here as well. Shemaine Howard. There's a bunch of you guys up in here this morning. Thanks for being here with me. I appreciate you. Also, I appreciate those of you that have gone out and grabbed a copy of the Legacy Titles, 12 Proven Principles to Scale Your Business 800%. This is a book, a labor of love. It took me many, many years to write this book, and it's been a heck of a launch. It's gone out around North America and a couple other countries, which we're super excited about. It's getting downloaded in different countries as far as the audio experience. So thank you for your support. I greatly, greatly appreciate it and you. And if you haven't grabbed a copy yet, go grab a copy. The Legacy Titles, 12 Proven Principles to Scale Your Business 800%. Go grab yourself a copy. And the audio experience for real is something else. Something else. All right. So make sure you go check it out. The print copy, awesome. The Audible copy, something else. And yes, please go leave a review. What's up, Renee Nor? Please go leave a review. If you have grabbed a copy, I would greatly, 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 greatly appreciate it. All right, so here we are. It is a leap year, February 29th, right? Leap year. And we've been in this series called Bon Voyage, which is used to express good wishes to someone who's about to go on a journey. And we looked up what voyage actually means by definition. It's a long journey involving travel by sea or in space. And then it says writing a biography is a voyage of discovery. And so earlier in the week, we talked about the growth mindset, that journey. And we also talked about, just self-discovery, really taking a look at self-discovery. And I've been doing that. I've been doing a lot of that. That's why, as you can tell, I'm questioning everything, even like the calendar and the 13 months that they hidden the hidden month. And why is there a hidden month and all of these things, right? I've been asking lots of questions. And tomorrow will be March 1st, and tomorrow will be a new day. And in self-discovery and reflection and all of those things, I have come to the realization I have to go away for a little while. I appreciate all of you. I do, but I have some work to do, some self-discovery work to do. And so I'm going to go away from the daily lives, and it's time for something new, a new chapter, a new season, a new understanding of the world around me and what that looks like. And it really just comes from asking myself a lot of questions. And Pastor Jeff's quote this morning, don't just dream, do, because an unrealized dream is like a recurring nightmare. And I have an unrealized dream. I have had a passion and want to change the way people start their day around this planet. I want to motivate and inspire, bring people together, equip them with the tools they need to succeed. All the things that we've done here on Rise and Grind over the last few years. I want to do all those things, but the dream is #1 morning show in the world. And testing with 1,500 episodes of Rise and Grind, testing has showed that dream of #1 morning show in the world, that dream of changing the way people start their day around this planet, that dream is going to be a recurring nightmare if we continue to do the same things that we've been doing and expecting a different result. This show gets flagged every single day. The reach on it is not, the social media platforms won't give it the reach that it needs. The lack of the ability to have consistent, good quality production, like it doesn't work towards achieving the dream. It does work for a lot of ways for me. It's very therapeutic, and I love spending my mornings with you, and like it does a lot of things for me, right? And it has done a lot of things for me. But this path is not the path to #1 morning show in the world, changing the way people start their day across the planet and realizing the dream that I have inside me. So listen, I've been asking questions on everything, and I want to challenge everybody in here to do the same. I want to challenge you to question all of it. I started looking at it starts all the way back when we're young, right? It starts all the way back at school. Like, listen to this clip.
Did you get straight A's in school? If so, good for you, congratulations. But in the real world, you'll never get straight A's again.
The problem with school is it don't teach you how to be successful. That's the problem. There's nothing wrong with it. If you want to be a doctor, lawyer, dentist, you got to go to school. But if you want to be successful, what you're supposed to do? You have to develop the principles of success. School teaches you how to memorize stuff. We're going to test you on it, and you recall what you've read, and we're going to give you a grade on it. Okay, when you get that degree, how you become successful? They don't teach you success. You teach success by changing your mental process. The difference between successful people and non-successful people, it has nothing to do with anything except how you think.
If you look at school, it's opposite of what it takes to be successful in real life. Don't make a mistake. Do as you're told, take tests by yourself, don't cooperate, do it by yourself, do it on your own, and there's only one right answer. No, there's tons of answers to a problem. So you come out of school scared to death of making a mistake, you do everything on your own, you don't cooperate, there's no synergy, there's no brainstorming, and there's only one right answer. Everybody wants to get the right answer. There's no one right answer.
If you think of like what is education, like you're basically downloading data and algorithms into your brain. And it's actually amazingly bad.
There's three basic kinds of education. Academic, the other one is professional. So you go to school to learn reading and writing. It's very, very important. And then professional is when you become a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. I'm not saying these are not important. I'm saying they're not enough today. You need more. And the third type of education is education that's called financial education. And I've never understood why our school systems don't teach us anything about money. Because rich or poor, smart or not so smart, we're all going to use money. And it's because our school systems don't teach us much about money. That's the reason so many people are having problems today financially.
We teach young people everything. Everything. Geography, reading, math, sex education. We don't teach them about investing. The average salary in America is $52,000. And if you put aside 10% of what you get paid, by the time you're 65, you'll have $1.2 million in the bank. Nobody teaches them that.
In the school system, they don't want us to learn about money because they just want to pump out good employees that do what they're told.
So what happens because we don't have much financial education at school, we actually learn it from our families. The poor people tell their kids that the government's going to take care of you. You should count on Social Security, and you should count on Medicare and things like this. What the middle class tells their kids is that they should have a good education, get a good high-paying job, a house, and a pension. And what the rich teach their kids, I should be an entrepreneur like Bill Gates or Oprah, and I should be an active investor like Warren Buffett or Donald Trump and things like this.
Most of you in this room, including myself, went to a 20th century school. And a 20th century school conditioned you on how to learn in a passive way. The bell rang. When the bell rang, what are you supposed to do? Report to your position, your desk. And what you're supposed to do is go to your desk and you're supposed to start doing things on your own, initiate conversations. Is that what they wanted you to do in school? Yes or no? No. They told you to sit down and what? Shut up and wait till we tell you what to do. Which, by the way, was perfect for a 20th century job. They were preparing you at 5 years old so you'd be on an assembly line. The bell rings, you get in your position, you don't talk, you only do what they tell you to do.
I think the school system is criminal in that it kills a child's spirit of learning. You know, a child goes into school all excited about, yeah, I'm gonna learn and it's gonna be great. And then the teacher says, sit down and shut up. Don't talk. We don't care what you're interested in.
My genius was crushed in school. I was labeled stupid and dyslexic and no attention and jumping around all the time. I flunked out of school twice because I could not write. And I do not read that well yet. And today I have one of the top 3 books in the history of the New York Times. I've been on the New York Times bestseller list for over 5 years now.
A lot of kids just in school kind of puzzled as to why they're there.
Nobody learns anything of value in school. And everybody intrinsically knows this. Even the people who disagree with me, I said, if you see me pull up in my Bugatti in a gas station, do you look at me and think, wow, he went to school? Fuck no. You think drug dealer, gangster, scammer. Yeah. You think I'm doing something illegal because you understand if I was staying within the paradigms of the system, I couldn't have possibly achieved this. The only way you can fathom I've done it is by imagining me as an outlaw. Because you know within the paradigms of society, I shouldn't have even fucking done it. That's how much you know school's a scam. You don't look at someone rich and respect them thinking he went to school. The people you are learning from in school aren't even fucking rich. Your business professor's never had a business. You can get a loan for school, but you can't use that money for anything else. Because if they were to open it up and put the school, the education system, into the fair market of capitalism, it would fail. If I were to give you 100 grand and say, you can get a degree, or you can buy a crypto, or you can start your own business, or you can do anything you want with it. Who's gonna choose a degree? Nobody! It's not competitive against any other investment. Everyone knows that. But you can only get the money for that, so you can't get the money to invest in anything else, so you end up doing it, learning something that is outdated, slow to learn, it doubly inflates. There's more degrees every single year, meaning the value of a degree decreases, and the price goes up every single year. So it's worth less each year, it costs more year on year. There's no other industry where you can even get away with it. You get wrecked, except for the educational system.
Sorry for the F-bombs there. I didn't know those were at the end of that video, but it really starts with school, right? Stand in line, sit down, be quiet. Don't look at other people's papers. You've got a teacher's lounge, right? So it teaches us separation right at the gate. And this has nothing to do with teachers themselves, by the way. This is just a system. You got the teacher's lounge, you got the bells, you've got the Pledge of Allegiance, you've got grades, show your work, only one way, only one answer, everyone conform. When we go to preschool, right, they tell us that it's preparing us for kindergarten. When we go to kindergarten, they tell us that grade school is preparing us for middle school. And then we go to middle school, which prepares us for high school. And then high school is supposed to prepare us for college. And college is supposed to prepare us for grad school, if that's what you choose to do. And then that's supposed to prepare you to go to work. And then after you go to work, work is supposed to prepare you to retire. And so from age 5 to age 65, you're supposed to be preparing for this season at 65 plus, where you can actually sit back and enjoy life. So who decided that that's the system, that's the plan? Who made that decision for you and for me? Who decided that? Like, who decided you can get a driver's license at 16 years old? In some places, it's different in others. Who decided that you become an adult when you turn 18? Who decided that at 21 you can start drinking and whatever, right? Like, who made these decisions for you and me? Because I know some 16-year-olds that shouldn't be behind a wheel, and I know some 12-year-olds that have way more maturity than any 16-year-old I've ever seen. Like, who made these decisions for you and me? So as I journeyed deeper into this and started to ask all these questions, like even the history books, did you know that history books are different in every country around the globe? Like the history books in the United States of America do not match history books in China. They do not match history books in Afghanistan. They do not match history books in Australia or Kenya or Korea or anywhere else on the planet. The history books do not match. They're different in every single country on this planet. Belief systems are different in every single country on this planet. Religions, they're different everywhere on this planet. So I look at these things, right? I'm like, golly, man, who decided these things for me? Is it the Roman soldiers? Is it the different wars and propaganda that they've shared with us? Is it governments? Is it politics? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, Santa was created by Coca-Cola. Did you know that?
A world without Santa Claus. It's hard to imagine. No boots, red suit, and white beard. But what many don't realize is what we're talking about is a world without artist Haddon Sundblom.
I think now when people envision Santa Claus, they envision the Coca-Cola Santa Claus. Many of them don't even know the origin. The fact that Haddon Sundblom painted this perfect vision of Santa Claus and kept his vision of Santa Claus consistent for over 30 years.
It all began with this 1931 painting. It's Sundblom's first Santa, the one he created for Coca-Cola's Thirst Knows No Season campaign.
It was really Santa. He's big, he's jolly, he's wearing red and white, and he looked like Santa.
A visible departure from the first Santa Coke experimented with in 1923.
That Santa was a mean-looking Santa.
And then again with artist Fred Misen in 1930.
The ad was so popular that we used Haddon Sundblom to paint his vision of Santa Claus every year from 1931 until 1964.
It was Sunbloom Santa that was a hit, and yet the original he painted over.
Take yourself back to the 30s and you're in the middle of the Depression. And if you're an artist, the most expensive thing that you have is canvas and paint. So Sunbloom took that same 31 Santa and he just modified it a little bit. He put a hat on him, he changed the arm angle slightly and put a whip in his hand for the reindeer. So you can see the first and the third Santa Claus painting all in the same painting.
Throughout the years, Sunbloom's neighbor served as his model Santa, but when he passed away, the painter became the model.
It backfired on him one year when he was looking in the mirror and he painted his belt buckle in mirror image. So in the painting, the belt is actually drawn backwards.
Then there is the issue of Mrs. Claus.
Another year, a very observant fan wrote in to ask what had happened to Mrs. Claus because Santa wasn't wearing his ring that year.
A lesser-known Sunbloom is included in the temporary display at the Oglethorpe University Museum of Art.
Created by a company to sell Coca-Cola 100 years later, the image all of our children and ourselves have of Santa Claus. Propaganda, marketing, agendas. Not saying it's bad, but who has made these decisions for you in your life? Quick question for those of you that are hanging in there with me today. What is rich? Like, how do you define rich? Is rich 50,000 a year? Is rich 100,000 a year? Is rich $400,000 a year? Is rich $1 million a year? Is rich $10 million a year? Is rich $50 million? Is that rich? Is 500 million rich? Like, is it a billion? Is it a billion? $1 billion? That's rich? Because I promise you, if Elon Musk had $1 billion, he'd probably hang himself. Like, it's all perspective. It's all perspective. It's all belief. It's all what we've been taught before. Like, there's no consensus. It's not like, oh, reach this number and you're good, right? Like, we have all been taught and we've made decisions of what rich looks like to us based on other people's agendas, other people's calendars, other people's marketing. Elon Musk would hang himself if he only had $1 billion. Bitcoin, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Bitcoin hit $57,000. A digital currency that does not exist anywhere but in the weird places of the internet. Your dollar that's in your pocket has no gold standard behind it. It has zero value, zero worth outside of the value and worth that we put on it. I don't know if you even knew this or not, but the United States of America is actually a corporation, not a company. I'm sorry, it's a corporation, not a country. Look it up. United States of America, LLC, is a completely separate thing from the country. It's a corporation. Our Bible that I love and that I read and that my wife reads and studies, that Bible has books that were left out of it. There's a thing called the firmament. If you get a chance, look up the firmament. The firmament talks about the earth not being this globe hurtling through space, but actually being more of like a dome that was created by God. If you start going down rabbit holes, you'll see that there's evidence that moon landings were faked, that the live feeds of the International Space Station are not actual feeds. They're not actual people in space. You can find videos where, like this one here, this woman's supposedly there in space. There's no gravity. Her hair is floating all the way up into the air, but the guy right next to her, his hair is not going anywhere. They tell us this story of this big round globe that is just hurtling through space at millions of miles an hour. And yet somehow we see the same exact stars, the same, what are those things called? You know, the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, all those things. We see the same stars. Supposedly we're hurtling through space at millions of miles an hour. How do we see the same stars? And why is it when they do go into space, there are no stars? I don't understand. We see stars from Earth, but when they show video from the moon or in space, there ain't no stars, dude. I don't know. When you start to ask questions, you find that there's no pictures of the Earth. They're all photoshopped. There's actually no real live pictures of this planet. And see, the Bible says that's because there's a firmament, there's a dome over the top, that we can't go into space because humans are actually the center of the universe. That you and I are actually children of God, that God created us, that we are important, that we matter, that you and I have value. Versus a theory that we're hurtling through space through some sort of chaotic collision of molecules that has evolved us from a salamander into a human. It's a different story. And the story we choose to believe ultimately determines how we act, how we walk, how we talk, and what we believe.
Mom, I'm scared.
Why?
You didn't go to church. You stopped saying grace. I don't understand what's going on.
It's kind of hard to explain.
Is it me? Did I do something wrong?
Of course not. Come here. Sheldon. Faith means believing in something you can't know for sure is real. And right now, I am struggling with that.
So you don't believe in God anymore?
That isn't something for you to worry about. I need to figure this out myself.
Can I help? Maybe I could provide a fresh perspective.
I don't think so, baby.
Did you know that if gravity were slightly more powerful, the universe would collapse into a ball?
I did not.
Also, if gravity were slightly less powerful, the universe would fly apart and there'd be no stars or planets.
Where are you going with this, Sheldon?
It's just that gravity is precisely as strong as it needs to be. And if the ratio of the electromagnetic force to the strong force wasn't 1%, life wouldn't exist. What are the odds that would happen all by itself?
Why are you trying to convince me to believe in God? You don't believe in God.
I don't, but the precision of the universe at least makes it logical to conclude there's a creator.
Baby, I appreciate what you're trying to do. But logic is here. And my problem is here.
Well, there are 5 billion people on this planet, and you're the perfect mom for me. What are the odds of that?
Listen, I don't have all the answers and don't even pretend to. But I do have a lot of questions. And that to me, and that to me is the purpose of the voyage. Why do we believe what we believe? And does that belief serve you? What if what you believed changed, would you be able to unlock the matrix, beat the game, if you looked at it a little bit differently? Because here's what I've been thinking lately. I've been thinking that I'm a man of God. I love God, and I try I try so hard to connect with God. But if I was the devil, I would separate people from knowing God and knowing that they are powerful children of God. Like if I was the devil, that would be my plan. I'm like, dude, I got to separate people from knowing God, and more importantly, separate people from knowing they are powerful children of God. And sometimes when I look at my life right now, I think, man, I'm a believer, but do I walk, talk, and breathe as a powerful child of God? Or am I a product of the calendar? You see, if I was the devil, I'd mess up the calendar and I'd throw it off so that they weren't in sequence with God. I would go into schools and remove people's individuality. Tell them to conform, to line up, that they're just like everybody else. I would try and get them to waste away their lives, as much of it as humanly possible, by hanging a carrot and a promise of some sort of utopian future that they'll never actually reach. And I would absolutely convince them that they are small and that they were not created and that they are living in chaos, not by design. I would make them think that a 46-degree day in the middle of February is wild, when in reality, it's how it's always been. I would keep people distracted and frustrated and fearful and anxious and worried so that they would lean on the things of this earth versus leaning on the truth. I would do everything in my power. If I was the devil, I would do everything in my power to get people to stop having trust and faith in God. I would do everything in my power to break them out of a 13-month cycle, one where God was born in the spring, one where he died on a Friday. Think about it. What is the worst number? The worst number everywhere. A lot of buildings don't even have this floor on their elevator. 13. And Friday the 13th is the scariest day. Why? Why do they want us to be scared of 13s and Fridays? Again, I don't have answers, but I do have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. And as I read Pastor Jeff's quote, the last one that I will read on this show, don't just dream, do. Because an unrealized dream is like a recurring nightmare. It keeps haunting you over and over again. God has put dreams on my heart, in my spirit, in my soul. And I am going to choose to trust him. And trust that those dreams were given to me, not to be unrealized recurring nightmares, but to be actualized, to be created, to bring me closer to him. So on that note, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope you know and understand that you are a child of God, the God of the universe, the God that made everything. And that God made you to be the best version of yourself you can possibly be. Not an average version, not a little bit below average, not a little bit above, absolute best. Go out and fulfill those dreams. I believe in you. I believe in you. I love you so much. I love you so much. So let's go out and achieve these things together. Have an awesome day. Happy New Year.
In the dark of the night, I'll be alright. The sun will rise.